Today, I'm going to show you how you should be using McCree for the best efficiency in his current state, and really taking a look at getting the most out of his ultimate and his newly buffed Fan the Hammer. I'm Grandmaster Maniac, and I'm here to show you everything you'll see in a typical McCree game, from getting split and fighting a 1v1 duel, to using your ultimate to stall out enemy pushes. To really up your game and take things to the next level, we have a special offer for the new year, so you can get your membership on the GameLeap website for 50% off, so come on down and check it out. You can have access to hundreds of pro player guides just like this one for any hero you want to see. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we do end up running out here with Lucio, getting up to the point pretty quickly and taking this first engagement. So right here, the Ryan doesn't have his shield up because he's busy swinging, and I think I saw Zarya already use her bubble. So I throw in the flash and just spam this right click at the Ryan, just trying to do some damage, let my Ryan and my Zarya get in there a little bit too, and we immediately take the Reinhardt out of the fight completely. So that's really important, because taking your Ryan out of the fight during a King of the Hill map like this, especially on the first engagement, really solidifies that first fight. So here it's basically just cleanup from this point on. Now the Ana starts getting dived by this Tracer and she calls for help, so immediately I turn around and I try to help her out. The thing I see McCree's messed up most often is not being there to peel for their supports. A lot of Crees think that they have to just be doing damage constantly, so they try to frontline, and that's not how you want to be playing Cree. You want to be more of a backline mid player and be ready to heal, or be ready to peel for your supports rather, in situations like this. So Ana calls out the Tracer on her, so I immediately turn around, get a headshot and clean her up right as my Ana gets to the health pack. So big luck there. Finish off this Genji, and that solidifies the first fight. We get a team kill before the point's even unlocked. So that's obviously a really good start, and you know, can't complain about it. Now, the best thing to do in this situation is play this really aggressive, but our Ryan actually makes a pretty big misplay, and he actually stayed back on the point to try to help cap it faster. In most situations, you really don't need but one person on the point, and in this situation, probably the best person for that actually would have been the Lucio. It's just not very effective to have your Reinhardt, who is your frontline, he is your main frontline player, be on the point here. You only need one person to cap. The difference in speed it makes is really negligible during a Koth map like this. So I was trying to play a little bit aggressively, but had to back off because our Ryan wasn't really there. And then so we're all falling back here. Now I tried to play this a little bit too aggressively, and so immediately I have to fall back. My Ryan wasn't there to shield or anything, so obviously my health is pretty low. So I immediately try to back up, roll out, and get some heals. Roll, used as mobility, is oftentimes underrated. You don't only have to use it for a reload. It's definitely handy for a reload during a 1v1 situation, but it's really important that you know how to use it for mobility as well. So now, this Tracer was in our backline again, so rather than try to wait for her to engage on our Ana, I try to take the engagement to her, roll forward to try to catch her, just put some shots out for pressure. I knew I wasn't really going to hit anything there, but it's important to just pressure the Tracer so she leaves, gets out of your back line, gives your supports a little bit longer to just kind of play safely. So here, now I'm just kind of spamming my right click right now because I don't have a clear shot on anything. There's a Rhine shield out, so really the best thing I can do is try to just spam some damage into that shield and see if we can break it. So now the Tracer starts doing damage to me again, so I turn around looking for her, get a headshot on her, but she recalls just perfectly enough. I throw a flash, but unfortunately I don't get the cleanup headshot, but she's still pretty pressured. I call up that she's back there, and she just kind of runs through our entire team and dies to the Lucio. And there's our second team kill. Now we start to move up again. This time I think our Ryan does come up with us, a little bit late, but he does. And I pop Q. Now this is really important. This is where I see a lot of McCrees make a mistake, in that they think that, you know, because the Rhine shield's there, they're safe pretty much. So the thing a lot of people don't realize about McCree's ultimate is that once those skulls appear, that doesn't stop the damage from ramping up. In fact, once those skulls appear, all that means is that if it makes uninterrupted contact with that enemy, they will die. But shields, Zarya bubbles, Winston bubbles, anything like that can stop that from occurring. Defense Matrix obviously is one of those occurrences as well. But what people don't realize is that after that skull appears, damage will keep ramping up to the point where it will do insane amounts of damage. So whenever you see people grouping up behind a Reinhardt shield, that's perfect. As long as they don't have a Genji who's about to deflect or a Diva about to Matrix, all you have to do is wait for as long as possible before you click that button. Because once you do, you actually ramp up damage so significantly that you can break Rein shield often in 1 to 2 shots, depending on how much damage it's already taken. So I let it go until like the last 1 second left, and then break the shield. That second shot was actually intended for the Genji, funnily enough, but the Rein was in front of him, so because he tanked the bullet, he actually took the damage for it and died. That leads me to another point. Other things can block. So Diva, if you hit all 6 shots into a Diva who just flew into your face, her mech will actually still have a hitbox long enough to block those shots, unfortunately. The other thing that'll block your shots is a Zenyatta using Transcendence. Zenyatta using Transcendence can be a great time to pop your ultimate, but if you see the Zen start to approach you, it's best to just either drop your ultimate or use it if you have any kill shot opportunities before he gets up in your face and can block those shots. We'll clean some things up here. I overextend a little bit in just a second. I push out a little bit too far to get that Zarya, get flashed, and then get right-clicked by that Zarya, who I overextended for. So I'm just kind of waiting for my team, getting some heals back from Ana, and we're getting ready for another engagement. So right here, the Rein has taken... The Zarya has used her projected bubble on the Rein. He has also gotten armor from Brig, which means that this Rein has nothing but his shield to defend him right now. But unfortunately, they pop Moro ult right after they kill our Rein and our Ana, so I just try to look for a way to get out. I should have just jumped off the edge, but instead I got a little bit distracted with this Moro ulting like this, and I got really, really lucky with what happens here. So I right click, and my last bullet just barely hits her, and I do get the kill on her. It's really lucky. Wasn't really a way to aim that because there is so much spread on McCree's Fan the Hammer ability, but it worked out until this Genji came for me and finished me off. I did, however, build my ult in that time, so that basically just says I have another ult to use. So now that I've got my ult again and we're gearing up for another engagement, we get a pick, an early pick on that Kree. So right now we know that it's our chance to move in. They're down 1, it's 6v5, so we can push in really hard here. Now I pop ult, and I just wait for some skulls to appear, see what I can get. Now Genji's deflecting, so I don't want to hit it quite yet, and Brig has her shield up, so I know that I have to charge a little bit more if I want to break her shield. But instead, she ends up dropping her shield for whatever reason. I don't know if she tried to boop, or if Lucio just tilted her enough, or if she actually did drop shield. But either way, I do end up getting the kill on the Brigitte. So now, we're focusing on the Rein. I get a flashbang in on him. It's really easy to flash Reins. All you need to do is aim above their shield and start putting some shots into him, building a little more charge. And now he just taken enough damage that my last shot was able to finish him off right as he dropped in that Earth Shatter. So I see that they have a hamster and a Rein coming in. So I time my flashbang to get that hamster. Rein crashes into the wall and gets shattered. And so now we're in a pretty simple situation. So Moira tries to go for stall. I turn around, finish using my ult on her, and finish things off. Lucio left, and now he's dead. Nothing else to contest. So we cleaned that one up pretty nicely, and it was overall a pretty good round. Now, depending on what the enemy team's running, one can be stronger than the other, but here I kind of prefer to try to go for a more hybrid style. So what I do first is I try to move a little bit out here towards the lion statue and just kind of put some chip damage in and see what I can do. However, they've got this Ashe up in the top left, up in the top right there, right up over here. So I'm trying to play behind this lion statue for a second while I try to do some chip damage to the team and to their shield. So I get behind this lion statue again, and then I decide, okay, I can't let my Ana and my Zarya out in the open there while they've got an Ashe. So I need to put some pressure on her and pull her attention away. So I take the duel with her. I know I'm not really at a high likelihood of winning it, but putting that headshot on her bakes enough pressure so that she has to move back a little bit. Gives my Ana and Zarya a little bit of time to move back towards the team. So moving out into the open, I get the Ana. I see that the Ashe is still up there, but I'm not in a huge issue right now. However, the Genji, who did climb over the wall there, does end up picking me. So coming back, I'm coming from the main side, Now, when you're coming back as McCree, you've got two different ways you can go. So you've got the main route, which is the one I've chose to go, and you've got the side route, which goes over the cliffside. Because of me going down the main way, I have to be a little bit more careful for something like an Ashe or a Widow, because it does obviously leave me a lot more exposed to range damage like that. So here, I'm just putting damage into that Ryan. He goes down, which gives us a huge advantage because now without their main tank, we're able to press forward and hold the choke much more efficiently. Now the Moira fades back over to her team, and right here, I have a really, really big opening because I've got 4, maybe 5 people right here all grouped up, and I can just flashbang while we all hit them. So that's exactly what I do. I throw the flash, hit the Genji, the Moira, and I think the Zarya, not 100% sure on that one. And I'm able to finish the shot on the Genji, and we just kind of push them further and further back. Now they're about to get started to push forward because they do have that Ryan. I hear some shots over to the right, but I decide I'm going to push it. See that they're all looking that way. Take a couple shots, but not really going to get anything since they're pushing through. And then we throw a grab here. So I immediately pop my ult. Now, what my ult does in this situation is, apart from the Hanzo that's already throwing his ult in there, it lets me see where everyone is and gives me a big opportunity to pop my ultimate and break that shield so we can do any extra follow-up damage just to finish things up a little bit faster. Hear the Ashe up there, but she's not a big threat. Finish off the Genji, and then I decide I'm going to go a little too aggressive to go kill this Moira, but it doesn't end up being a bad thing because Lucio comes up and speeds me out. So now I see that Ryan coming in. Now this is really important. A lot of people try to only use their flashbang for offensive situations when they're trying to go in and 1v1 something. But whenever you've got a situation like this, flashing a Reinhardt can actually be really, really huge. Because he could have hit my Ryan, he could have hit me. There's a lot of things that he could have charged and killed and given his team a big advantage on. But because I flashed him right there and my Ryan is still on our side of him, we've still got control over here, at least to a better degree than we could have. So, flash him, our Ryan countercharges, takes half of his health away, even though he does get bubbled, but it all works out okay. Throw some more right clicks in there for good measure, break the shield, and now we're just kind of in a really weird scuffle. Now, I tried to move away from that dynamite at the last second, but it didn't really matter because the sound barrier was off on me. Try to put some pressure on that Ashe, but can't find my shots. Throw a flash and a right click into this Bob, and I'm about to try to roll over to cover where the Zarya is right now, but unfortunately, the Ashe does get the shot off on me and finish me off. Now, right here, I try to push in just so I can get a little bit of ult charge, but the Zarya and the Genji both push forward to meet me, so I know that I have to back up. So I do, we group up, I get healed, get my healers a little bit of ult charge, and I try to go for a high ground here, just to see what I can spot, and I do end up getting some nice timing picks on that Genji. So now, I've taken out that Genji, and I'm trying to play a little bit more passive because of that Ashe. Now, she's over there, jumping away. I try to put some shots into her, but can't quite get it. Now here, this is really important. So I still have flashbang, and I know that because they just grabbed, their Ryan is likely to try to get really aggressive on it. So I hear him actually push up onto the left. He's right now, you can't see him, but right now he is right on the other side of this wall about to charge. And I kind of figured that that was what he was going to do. So at this point, I know I'm ready to throw my ult, or not my ult, but I'm ready to throw my flashbang. So I peek back around, and I hear him start his charge right here. So I immediately flashbang, and it stops it. However, our Lucio goes down, but our Ryan countercharges and kills their Lucio. Our Zarya finishes off their Ryan, and then I push around the side, pick off the Zarya, and now we just take this back pretty easily. So now I pop ult here again, because my Ryan is taking this a little bit aggressively. So if they're going to drop shield, this gives me an opportunity to either kill them through their shield, or just go ahead and force them to put shield back up and give my Ryan a little bit of extra aggression. I end up not getting any picks with it, but I do end up breaking the shield, which is really, really important. So now the Genji blades, goes down, does kill my Hanzo, and then tries to come for me next. Personally, I think his best option would have been to go for a support, but our Moira just ulted, and I don't think he thinks he can catch a Lucio. So instead, he decides that his next best target is me. So he dashes towards me, I flashbang him, get a shot, and then get another shot and finish him off.
So here, roll back towards the point to help my Lucio, who's over there dealing with 2 tanks. Lucio does go down, unfortunately, but I get a little bit more damage in. And, oh, here, this is really important. I heard the Moira pop her ult coming down from main, so immediately my attention turned to her off of the tanks so I could flashbang her. Flashbanging Moira out of ult is really, really huge because you just immediately cancel her ult. She's out of ult. I don't kill her, unfortunately, and the Zarya does finish me here in a second. But taking away their Moira's ult takes away a lot of their damage and a lot of their sustainability. So try to pick some damage into that Lucio. Don't think I get him. But I see this Doomfist up here. Now, knowing that this Doomfist is right here, and knowing that I'm running a Lucio and an Ana as my supports, and also my other DPS is a Hanzo, it's pretty important for me to try to take care of this Doomfist, since that's really going to come down to being my job. Here, I kind of like to stay in this position because I know that he's likely to just try to slam down on one of my teammates and try to pick them out. So I stay over here in this little corner, see where he goes. Can't finish him while he's up there, but let my team try to push in. There's the grab, so I know that the Doomfist is probably about to come down. So I try to move out a little bit, and instead he decides to target me, which is an interesting idea. I roll out of the way, do some damage, and now this flashbang, I actually timed that on purpose so it would flash him after he hit me, just because he's in that little bit of lock while he's doing the slam, and then adding on that flash gives me time to reload and get behind this cover. So now I hear him charging up his punch, and I'm just trying to play the bait game. End up rolling the right way and able to pick him off pretty easily. The Moira comes out and helps me out too, so that was definitely appreciated. So now we move back over to point. I get the finishing blow on that hamster, move back over towards main, just so I can see if I can stop anything that's coming through with my ult. And Doomfist is there, get a lock on him, hit the Tracer a little bit, someone else finish the Doomfist, and that's going to clean it up. So again, this is just a guide on a little bit more in-depth of Kree's abilities in his newest state, in his current state. So hopefully you guys got something out of it.
If you really want to up your game and take the next step to becoming a better player, you can find guides like this one made by other top-level players by clicking the link below to GameLeap.com. Make sure to like this video, share with friends, and subscribe to stay up to date on the channel's newest releases.